Hey everyone, and buongiorno from Rome in Italy. Today's the 9th day of our epic European adventure. And to start with, we're going to do a walking tour around Rome, seeing all the historical sites. We're meeting our guide here at the Circus Maximus, in the heart of Old Town Rome. We tried to get here by bus, but one of the buses we wanted to get on was cancelled. So, because we're running short of time, we decided to get a taxi, and it's quite reasonable. From the Pantheon to here, Circus Maximus, only costs €8. I thought that was pretty good value for a taxi in Rome. Plan is, this tour is going to last a couple of hours. It's going to explore all the major historical attractions in Old Town here, like the Mouth of Truth, Circus Maximus, and a lot of other things as well. Then this afternoon, we're free, and we're going to explore the Colosseum. So we just stopped for a really quick breakfast of a donut and a cookie with honey.
We're standing in the junction, as you guys can see, of two hills. The one in front of us is the Palatine Hill. And the one on the other side of the valley that you see in the middle is the Palatine Hill. These communities are going to be the first two communities that are going to start following the dream, the idea of Romulus and Remus in the 8th century before Christ. Everything that you see at the top of the Palatine Hill are known as the homes of emperors. They were used to call the homes in Latin domus. That's why today, somehow, when you talk about something that belongs to home, you still use the same root. You guys speaking in Russian, you might say doma, or if you actually speaking in any language that use a Latin derivation of the word, you might call it something domestic. Domus, something that belongs to home, domestic. Make sense? Everything started for the city of Rome in the 8th century before Christ. When Romulus and Remus started chasing their dream, they were not thinking in building the Roman Empire of anything remotely close to it, no. The idea, the dream was getting the communities together. The purpose, protecting each other. And you might say, protecting each other from whom? From outsiders that were used to come and raid all the communities down on the south of the peninsula. Those that were used to raid these communities back in the days were used to be known as the Etruscans. The left, that Augustus Domus. It's a must, all right? On the right-hand side, the other building that you guys see is Septimus Severus Domus. Septimus Severus is going to be an emperor during the 2nd century after Christ. And he was recognized for two major things.
Which one?
From the division right here in front of us all the way to the end.
Oh.
For two major things. The first one, at the age of 67, he's going to be able to conquer Scotland. And he's going to add it to the Roman Empire. Not just that. At that moment, he's going to do something that we have never seen before in history. He's going to grant citizenship to all individuals inside the Roman Empire. But what it means? It means that if you were Scottish, now you can come down to Spain, cross all the way to Turkey, jump on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea, take a quick peek in the pyramids, and keep moving to some of the best beaches in the Mediterranean Sea, right on Morocco, using one single document. Believe it or not, that is something that we haven't been able to achieve even today, that we call ourselves the free world. The second thing, everything that he built or rebuilt was only using recycling materials. We think that recycling is something from the last 2 or 3 decades, far from true.
So we booked this tour through GuruWalks, which is a free walking tour website that links individuals like ourselves to a number of tour guides throughout the world. I believe it's the largest free walking tour group website there is. So for the rest of this trip as well, we've booked a number of other tours as well with GuruWalk, starting tomorrow, another one in Rome, and then we've got some later on in a few days in Vienna and Prague as well. So far, the guide is very, very informative about the history. He really knows his stuff. Let's see what else we're going to be doing. So it looks like we're finishing on Circus Maximus now, and we're just going to the next place.
Everything started in the 6th century, and the first things that they're gonna do is two major events. The first one, horse competitions in all levels. Individual, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Always odd numbers for good luck. Total amount of laps, 7. Little by little, this is gonna grow in the same pace that the city will do so. Circus Maximus is gonna be able to help over 300,000 people. Not more. So what they're gonna start doing to recreate what Romans taught them in the circuses are creating these long tents where they're gonna allow horses to run inside while being dominated by men known as cities. This is something that is gonna be so attractive and so entertaining for them that little by little this is gonna pass from generation to generation. And it's gonna move from corner to corner, reaching us even today. Because prior to guys, have you ever been in a circus? There's no way for you to tell me no. That is where everything started. 10 of the crime is going to be the punishment that they're going to receive. The most common punishment was cutting the hand. It's big and it's delicious and it's waiting for us. Some idea. Let's go and enjoy the cake. Be able to appreciate everything that this city has to offer. You know what that is? Eventually, throughout the coming centuries, you're gonna be declared as a saint, and that's what we have left from him. So, and not just that, he's the one that makes us go to the mall every year, you know, to get the gifts and everything. All the way until the time of Julius Caesar, marriage was just a religious ceremony. Julius Caesar is gonna be the man that is gonna pass the first female right in history. He's gonna force the Senate to present the wife of a man in case that he's gone as the legal representative. From that point on, women are gonna be the legal representative of the husbands. Take a look, for example, the city. You guys see all the halls in the city, the little halls? And even nails are still standing today on the walls. You guys see all these nails still standing in the halls everywhere? What they're gonna start doing is they're gonna start nailing the bones on the walls. This little screw is gonna allow them to pass a little piece of thread. And that thread is gonna allow them to tie every set of bone for the coming centuries without missing a single square inch of the place. They're gonna figure out the last human remaining placed in this crypta was deposited here in 1832 until 10 years ago, when they decided to relocate all these human remains to a cemetery and start reconstructing the Arch Maximus of Hercules and the crypta of Hedera. You know what's the saddest part? That you guys saw the line up there to go and test the mouth of truth. You don't see not even one single of them down here. That's why I want to bring you here. I want to make your experience just a little bit more unique of what already is. I want you guys to be able to grasp something very unique throughout the time that you guys stay in the city. Gods are always superior than us. So that's why you will always see steps in the ancient temples, because we gotta climb to see them since they are way higher than us. The next thing that you guys are gonna see is cylindrical shape, circular shape, open ceilings. The ceiling that you guys see is something that is being placed eventually by the Catholic Church when they Christianized these particular pagan temples. This is not a triumph arch. This is an entrance arch, entrance to the sea, dedicated to Janus. Janus was used to be the god of beginnings and ends. That's why if I ask you guys in English, what's the beginning of the year, you're gonna say January, to honor the god of beginnings. Beginning of the 11th century, 1011, is going to build this tower as a gift to a pope. The purpose is, look, your highness, this is what we can do. And some of you that are coming from farther latitudes, you might don't know how relevant a structure like this is during that period. But this is the beginning of the 11th century. What this family is showing to the pope is that they are able to use in a single structure the three classical techniques of construction: the combination of arches, pillars, columns, and highly detailed architectonical details. Just to let him see, hey, look, this is who we are. Very few communities, I'm not gonna say few communities, very few families were able to deliver something like this during this century, because this century is the middle of the Dark Ages for Western Europe. Take a look on the line of trees that you see on our right hand side, and the first building that you're gonna see right there, that is the Synagogue of Rome, the second largest in Europe.
Can we go around there and then into the water?
Oh, you want to go swimming?
Yeah. Did we bring my swimsuit?
The day that the bridge actually collapsed was in 1554. And the reason why is because a new pope came to Rome. His name, Paul IV. Paul IV is going to take all the working forces from the city, and he's going to force them to do and build a new neighborhood on that side of the city. He's going to call this neighborhood the Jewish Ghetto. It's going to be the second one established in history. During the time of the construction, what Paul IV did is he abandoned everything else in the city. The bridge was required maintenance, he didn't do it, and the bridge collapsed. For Romans, seeing a bridge that has been with us for over 18 centuries was the sign of something terrible about what happened because of what he started doing on the other side of the city. And I tell you what, I could not agree more with them, because what we're gonna see is atrocities happening against our own citizens for the coming 3 centuries. Because what he's gonna do is he's gonna segregate our own citizens just because they believe something different than the rest of the community that were used to be Jewish, but at the end of the day are our citizens. Before Christ. In the arch, guys, you can still see the original engravings at the top. If you guys try to read them, you guys still can read that says Fabricius CF Coviard. Coviard means Latin. Coviard means bridge in Latin. So you guys can see how original the bridge is. And the next thing that I want you guys to see is what's actually under the bridge. Take a look on the structure and how they were used to build these bridges. Under, you can see how they were used to link the blocks. For structures like this, they are not gonna use concrete, because remember, concrete is too rigid. Structures that are constantly under stress needs to be able to release that stress in one form or another one. Otherwise, if it's too rigid, it will crack. And if the structure cracks, guess what? Collapsing is the next thing happening. So that's why what they're gonna do is they're gonna create this linking system that will allow that stress to be released in every level of the construction. We're gonna keep moving inside the Jewish ghetto, and we're gonna place ourselves right on the heart of it, where we gotta talk about what happens on that place during the 20th century, not long ago. All right? So, now it's the heart of the Jewish ghetto. And as you guys can imagine, during the World War II, this place is gonna be targeted by the Gestapo. Not just targeted. This is the place where the Gestapo is gonna run one of the most impressive military raids of the World War II until that time. In 16th of October of 1943, they're gonna be able to capture the capital of a state, infiltrating it and taking citizens to be sent to the concentration camps in a record time. The whole operation is going to take less than 24 hours. Total amount of captures that day, 16th of October 1943, 1,259. All of them are going to send and receive in hostage. At the time of their arrival, they're going to check them, and they're going to realize that the total amount of them as a real Jewish are going to be 1,044. All of them are gonna stay in the concentration camps, and most of them are gonna get executed within the following 6 weeks. Only 16 survivors will make it, and the reason why is that because they managed to escape. Out of those 16, one single woman will come later on back home. And this museum, it's in the memory of those that actually were taken away from home and sent to the concentration camps. Again, it's totally free in case that you guys want to visit it, but I gotta tell you the truth, it's kind of a heavy place. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a little bit about Roman history on this place. What we're gonna see next is what is known as the Porticus of Octavia. You might say, the what? From whom? Porticus, it's a rectangular construction of a single-story house with a massive gardens in the center with a very small entrance that was used to be known as the Propileus. This kind of structures, it's where most of the family or relatives of the leaders of Rome or business class are gonna live. You're gonna pour molten lead all around that little block of rocks. You got about 20 to 25 minutes for that metal to cool down, so that is the time that you have to lift up the next block and drop it on top. What's gonna happen there is the weight of the other block is gonna push the lead, amalgamizing it and forcing it to fill up every gap in between. And not just that, the excess of it is gonna be pushed out by the little channels that you guys see right here. And then you're gonna build 1 story high. So technically you already have yourself a porticus. Now, if you want to bring family and friends, you can continue going higher and higher and build yourself a theater. And now you might be thinking, wait a minute, but you want me to bring family and friends to a construction with this technique, with no concrete? I don't think it's safe. Let me tell you something, you guys want to stick with this one better than concrete. In the middle right here, you can see actually lead and then bronze in the middle still holding the blocks. When you guys look at structures like this one, for example, what do you guys see here? This is granite. The origin of the material, nothing new for you, north of Europe. When you look at the style, monolithic piece, means what? Roman classical style, nothing for you, nothing new for you. When you guys look at the basics, what do you see here? White marble from Greece. You already know the origin of every piece. When you guys look at the damages done right here, this is nothing new for you. You already know how, why, and when this happens. So you guys see how now this story is also part of your own. Next thing that I want you to guys see, take a look on that temple. Some of you are gonna jump right out. You're gonna say, guys, that's a Greek classical style temple, so most likely it's gonna be older than the 2nd century before Christ. You guys got it right. A good example of that is that is Apollo's temple, dated 5th century before Christ. Date of construction 431 before Christ. You guys can come back and remember what you conquered today. Because I tell you one thing, I don't see only dreamers with me today. What I see in front of me are those that take dreams and make them a reality. I see creators. Guys, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your adventure. Thank you so much.
So we've just finished our walking tour now. It took about 3 hours in the end, but our guide Marcellus was very, very informative. He really knew his history, and I'd thoroughly recommend this tour to anybody watching this video. I'll leave the description to it down below in the links. So now we're going to grab some lunch and go to the Colosseum. There isn't enough time to get lunch, so we're just having a quick ice cream or a gelato, going into the Colosseum, and we'll have a larger lunch after that. People say all roads lead to Rome. In this case, all roads lead to the Colosseum. To the Colosseum. We've passed the first ticket office and now we're going through security. On the arena floor of the Colosseum. So to get to buy here, you actually need to purchase a special ticket which includes the arena. So it's a standard ticket plus the arena. You also have optional tickets as well of going down there into the basement area. Unfortunately, when I booked this ticket a few weeks ago, all the ones to go down there were already sold out straight away pretty much on the day they became available. But arena ticket is pretty good. So this is where the gladiators and the animals would have fought to all the baying crowds. So originally as well, these were a lot higher than they are now, but obviously over the centuries they've come down slightly. And shortly they're going to be going up there to the 3rd tier, so that's, if you have a standard ticket, that's where you go. So these here are what the seats would have looked like back in the day. This will actually use the amphitheatre. So hot out there, so hot. It's about 40 degrees today, so Matthew and Holly have got their fans. We also had a fan go around the neck, but that wasn't really that good. So we're going to take a little break underneath the shade of this arch here for a bit before we make our way to the 3rd level and then walk around the interior of the Colosseum. Matthew, what do you reckon? We walk around, then leave and go get a drink? It's so hot. So hot. It's still amazing being in such a great location as this Colosseum. So we've now done another new 7 Wonders of the World off our list. So Matthew and Holly have done this, and Petra and I have been fortunate enough to also do the Taj Mahal and Machu Picchu. Oh, that's the stereotypical photo spot. found a nice shaded spot to take a breath for a few minutes and cool down. So it's in the shade and there's a breeze blowing through that archway just by there.
Right, no more pictures.
No?
No.
Sludge.
Yeah, that's water. Oh, well.
Behind me is the exit, so we're about to leave the Colosseum. Some lasagna bolognese, some pen pasta arrabbiata, and some fish and chips for Matthew. It's like a microwave lasagna. I guess the moral of the story is, don't have your dinner where the top of the sign actually says toilets before the food. We're walking back to the Colosseum and we're going to go straight past that to Palatine Hill and the Roman Forum, which are also included in our Colosseum tickets. Just sitting in the shade on Palatine Hill for a while. There's a nice breeze up here. We've been here for about 10 minutes just sitting down, doing nothing and just relaxing, haven't we, Matthew?
Yes.
And it is quite relaxing just up here. There's an ant on your leg. Well, didn't knock the ant off then. We'll probably stay here for about another 5-10 minutes and then carry on walking around Palatine Hill and then go to the Roman Forum. We've finished exploring Palatine Hill. Now we're going to have a look at the Roman Forum, which is straight ahead. In the Roman Forum, the centre of the political, economic and commercial heart of ancient Rome. So we're going to leave the Roman Forum now. It is, what time is it? It's 10 to 7 in the evening. We're going to start walking back to our hotel. It'll probably take between 20 and 30 minutes. If we see any nice restaurants along the way, we'll stop for our dinner. If not, we'll go back to the hotel first, freshen up a bit, and then come back out and look for some food. Our hotel is pretty close to the Pantheon, so there'll probably be plenty of restaurants around there for us to go to.
Some nice apple juice. Or maybe they know I like to eat the ice, so they gave me a spoon to eat the ice. Germany, I choose.
So this is where we are. I think it's Hedera, it might be pronounced. And the QR code leads to the menu. If you want to scan that on the screen.
So try to have that snake as well. Does it taste like snake? Tastes like meat. Yeah. I think the ones we did at home are better than the ones here.
We finished our meal at Hedera, I think that's how you pronounce it. It was a bit mediocre, if I'm honest. Matthew's steak was very, very chewy, so it looked like they used the worst cut of beef, almost like you use in a, you know, casserole or something like that, but they decided to turn it into a steak. Holly's pizza was standard, and my spaghetti bolognese. I don't even make very good spaghetti bolognese, but I think mine tastes a bit nicer than that. The ice creams were nice, and the Holly's fresh lemon juice was nice, but
my lemonade was freshly squeezed.
Yeah.
And I stole Daddy's lemon to make it even more lemony. Like it tasted like my lemonade tasted.
The tiniest sip. I went like this.
Yeah. This like it tasted like if you drink it tastes like this bite in a lemon.
And all that came to 92 euros, so one of the most expensive meals we've had so far on this trip. So we're walking back to our hotel now. We're going to get an early night because we're up very early tomorrow to go to Vatican City. But along the way, we're going to walk past the Pantheon because it's en route to our hotel. So we'll just stop and look there for a few minutes. If it's still open, we'll go inside and take a look around. If not, we'll just have a look from the outside and carry on walk into our hotel. Matthew and Holly inside the huge doors to the Pantheon. I think we're going to end this episode here, right in front of the Pantheon in Rome. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and here's Holly with a special message.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. Bye!
Bye! Next time on Travelshorts Epic European Adventure.